This is the Gluten-Free Diet Claim Critique by Sue Ellen Albrecht. So a little from the beginning, a little backstory on the gluten-free diet. It was discovered by a Dutch pediatrician, Dr. Willem Carroll Dick. He noticed that a lot less children during the war were dealing with gluten allergies, gluten intolerance, the sensitivity, and of course the celiac disease. So before the war and after the war, of course, kids were containing and consuming a lot of carbs, specifically grains that contained wheat. And so he noticed that during wartime, when things were a little bit less than normal that people could consume, that the mortality rate decreased to 30%. So, what is the gluten free diet? It's a very simple diet where you just do not consume gluten at all in any shape or form. This protein is in wheat, barley, rye, and triticale, which is the cross between wheat and rye. The gluten free diet is centered around whole foods, taking out carbs, taking out grains. Um, the better route is taking out highly processed foods, specifically like your crackers or your cereals or anything like that that may contain high amounts of gluten. Um, this diet does allow for more fruits and vegetables, as well as like cleaner proteins, unprocessed meats, beans, seeds, any other natural form of food that is considered whole foods. And then a little something that I wrote on the bottom that I thought was very interesting is that American grown wheat is hard red wheat, and in Europe they have a softer wheat. So their wheat is lower in gluten, so when you do go have pasta or whatever type of food you decide to consume in Europe, you don't feel as bloated or as like weighted down as you would in America because our wheat is a little bit different. So I kind of gave overview of what a day in the life of the gluten-free diet would look like. Here's kind of some examples of meals that you could have for each. But yeah, go ahead and look over those. And then does this actually work? That's what we're all here for, right? So this diet does seem to be productive for people with gluten allergy, gluten sensitivity, gluten intolerance, and more specifically the celiac disease or gluten ataxia. According to the PubMed article that I found, the mucosal levels within your body decrease about 35% after 2 years of starting the gluten free diet and about 66% after 5 years. So overall, it's 82% clinically proved. And your body like improves over this like 5 year period like substantially. I do think this is fully accredited to the whole food lifestyle, with adding the important nutrients that you may lose that some people do lose in the gluten free diet, which is like riboflavin and different vitamins and minerals that you may need. But on the flip side of this, the gluten-free diet does sometimes contain more processed foods because you don't want to get the whole foods all the time, and so that could contribute to higher risk for obesity, high cholesterol, or even your lipid glucose levels like changing up and causing simple like malfunctions within your body. So, how functional is the gluten-free diet? Three factors that come to mind are location, income, and need. Depending on your location, you have to be able to access gluten-free products. You also have to be able to pay for them. And then, based on those two things, how much income or how far are you willing to travel to get these products based on your need. If you have celiac disease, you're definitely driving as far as you can and spending as much money as you can on these products because you have no other option. Here's a little comparison of the celiac disease versus gluten sensitivity versus just the allergy, just to give you a quick little overview. And then kind of more of my overview is that the gluten-free diet does not claim any weight loss. things, but it does claim that it helps celiac patients as well as gluten intolerance patients. The functionality of the gluten-free diet does depend on those three factors that we talked about. So kind of depending on where you are in life and how willing you are, what your needs are, is kind of how functional the gluten-free diet is for you. And then just some like advantages is your number 4, and then the risks that you may get from the gluten-free diet is number 5. And then references.